the topic of conversation of curating games has been very hot in my local player group. Talking about what games we want to keep in our collection. A lot of us have been selling games more frequently than we wanted, or originally thought, maybe I think it's a better term. And started thinking to myself over the weekend, what would my collection look like if I really culled it down? And then I thought to myself, what if I could only own 10 of my games? What games would they be and why? And that became sort of a fun challenge because you have a lot of games in our collections, and going through them and figuring out why would you keep this one, or what makes this the cut, or why does one not make the cut, especially if it's a game that I love. It makes an interesting challenge. So as I go through my 10 games that I would keep if I could only have 10 games, I challenge you to do the same. So without further ado, let's hit it. I forgot to mention at the top of the episode that my name is Brian. Thank you for watching Game Brigade. So we are going to go through these 10 games. Now, these games are not in any order, so because I have them just kind of stacked around me. So just be aware that these are just 10 of my favorite games, and I think that they are the best ones that I would like to keep. And we're going to start off with a doozy, being Twilight Imperium. Now, this one I debated for a while if this would make the list. You see, Twilight Imperium is a very niche game. It's not one that you can actually get to the table regularly, and sometimes I wonder if some of the new expansion content enhances or sometimes could decrease the playability because it adds more layers of complexity to a game that was already very good. I thought about maybe Eclipse or something of that nature filling the slot. But the reality is as of now, in terms of my gaming personality and tastes, Twilight Imperium still finds itself fitting a niche that not any other game I have has done as well as this one. So yes, while Twilight Imperium does require a good chunk of the day to commit to, that chunk of the day is one of my favorite experiences that I get to have. And it's more of an event rather than just playing a board game. And I don't get that feeling very often. So I had a hard time not giving Twilight Imperium the nod in this list. So that's Twilight Imperium from Fantasy Flight Games. Okay, let's see, what would be a good follow-up? So this one's an interesting choice. And I think several of my friends in the player group might question it because it's been a very long time since we've played it. And that would be, this is actually an expansion box, Company of Heroes, the board game. I've grabbed the expansion box, it's easier, the other one's massive. And Company of Heroes, the board game, is a RTS style World War II war game, I guess you could say, strategy war game, where players are going to be taking on either this faction of the Axis or the Allies. And you are going to be using units where you're going to push your units across the map, taking different types of strategic points, using firing arcs, and taking advantage of resource gathering so you can purchase and upgrade your units. It is a very, very true to experience RTS feeling board game that I haven't had many games that I can think of scratch that same experience. And that was something of a common theme as I built this list. What is something that's a very good game that is hard to replicate, that gives me an experience that is very hard to find anywhere else? I guess I already said that kind of in a roundabout way. So the reason I haven't played this one in a while, though, is I played the 2.0 or 1.5 version that was on Kickstarter not too long ago, and very much loved the changes that happened to the overall system. It very much enhanced it. And so I've just been holding off, waiting for that upgrade kit to come back, and then I was going to go through and entirely do a whole painting kit and do all my thing to make this game, you know, kind of a mainstay for my collection. But I felt it would be a perfect fit for this video after some thought. So that is Company of Heroes, the board game. Okay. Let's do this one. This one's always on these lists. This random box. You guys have seen this box if you've watched my show quite a bit. But this is my Marvel Champions player box. So right now we have the Mutant Genesis and the Sinister Motives campaigns. But this is my Marvel Champions box. You can kind of see here. Wow, I'm dropping everything out of it. I've got all my player decks on this side. I've got all my campaign stuff. And Marvel Champions just still is the creme de la creme of my favorite experiences. Oh, I still have a card out of here. I wonder where you came from. I have found myself, whenever I'm playing solo games or cooperative, like 2-player experiences, finding that my time with Marvel Champions is always the best. I have great fun with trying new decks. I love to go online to the Marvel, I think it's CDB or something like that, and looking for unique new combinations of decks I haven't thought of. And those are always fun. And so Marvel Champions still slaps. It's definitely one of the best games I have still played. Now, I have tried to see if the Lord of the Rings, the card game, would potentially replace it. Now, Lord of the Rings is an IP that I personally appreciate more than Marvel. But the way that game plays, and sometimes the complexity level of it, detracts from the way that Marvel Champions is just so well designed. So almost always I'm still diving into Marvel Champions when I have the option of the two. And I have thought of this a lot, that I don't know how many living card games you can literally actually play regularly in your collection. So if I had to choose between those two, Marvel Champions so far is it. The modularity, the ability to play in any type of combinations of villains and heroes and combine them with different types of cards and abilities makes this game just so good. So that is Marvel Champions. That is always on my lists because it always is so good. I should just have it like pinned to the top, you know. Okay. We just talked about Marvel Champions. Let's talk about Magic the Gathering. So this is number 4 on this list, but Magic the Gathering, in my opinion, is probably the best card game ever designed. It is incredible how they have still innovated 30 years past its creation date, or 25 years, it's been a while. Magic the Gathering is just the best card game, period. I think I would hard stop and say that. I personally used to play competitive Magic. This channel that I used to run was a Magic the Gathering dedicated channel. Some of my subscribers have actually found some of my old videos. I think I've hidden most of those now, so you can't find them, but maybe I've forgotten a few of them. But this channel was dedicated to Magic. I love this game, but I haven't played it as much as I used to. But I still think if I were to play any card game against another friend, you know, competitively, Magic is the one that I would go to. The nice thing about Magic is it also scales well at higher player counts if you want to play Commander, which is what I have here in front of me. These are some Commander decks. And what I do now to make the game as accessible and easy for everyone is I buy these pre-built Precon decks and just have a whole slew of them that all have different types of play styles and metas so people can enjoy different types of decks. So I have a whole bunch of these and people can just choose one, pull it out of the box, and good to go. And so I really appreciate that. But in terms of the actual game, I think Magic the Gathering, really you can't beat it. It's such a good game. So let's put these boxes over here. Okay. This one I just recently reviewed, and that's Castles of Burgundy. Castles of Burgundy might be the only Euro-ish game on this list, and this is on here because of all the Euro-type games I have, you know, Brass Birmingham, On Mars, what else do we have over here? It's like now I can't think of any euros that I have. Caverna. Brass Burgundy still gives me such a joy with the complexity of how you are going to effectively draft and buy tiles and place them onto your board, and using that with a very light mechanism of just rolling your dice and assigning those dice to different stations. This is a very, very brilliant game in its complexity as well as simplicity. And I love how many layers there are, especially with the special edition, but you don't necessarily need the special edition. But I like the amount of gameplay replayability that I have within this box, offering different types of strategies and elements, not only with the different types of player boards you have, but with some of the modular expansions that come inside. So this is definitely one of my favorite games. Castles of Burgundy, this is the special edition, but like I said, you don't necessarily need the special edition if you were to buy your own copy. Let's do the blue side. I like the blue side. Okay. Oathsworn. Oathsworn by Shadowborn Games is probably by far my favorite. I'm not going to say dungeon crawler because it's not a dungeon crawler. It's an adventure boss battler. But it is definitely my favorite boss battler adventure fantasy game right now. I love the way all of the heroes play so differently, yet the concepts and how they operate, because of the way the system is designed and made, means that you don't feel lost by playing a new hero or a new champion. It just takes a second to figure out, how does this hero want to be played? I love the level up system in terms of how you upgrade your heroes, and then being able to, if there's a hero that's just not working for you, or if you want to try something else, being able to swap out heroes and auto level up to another hero is incredibly brilliant. The story is deep, yet I'm still waiting to find out the conclusion. We haven't finished our campaign right now. We are currently on a pause for it, but I would love to see where it's going. But right now, you have a campaign narrative story that is very, very dark, very rich in terms of a narrative story, and looking forward to seeing where it goes and what the conclusion is, and maybe what Shadowborn Games has for the future of this IP. Definitely one of my favorite games, and would recommend anyone to try it at least. It's an incredibly good experience. Okay. This one was almost like a cheat, and I wondered if it was a cheat, if I could only own 10 games, and that's a system. And I grabbed two examples. I've got, this is the Dune Adventures role-playing game. This is the 2D20 system by Modifius, but this is also the D&D player handbook. And I just want to talk that if I were to get down to a limited amount of number of games, I think I would have a hard time arguing against keeping a system of role-playing games. These games have infinite replayability. Your imagination is really your only thing holding you back from playing this game multiple times. As long as you have players willing to play with you and a DM willing to tell a story, you could go as far as you want with many different adventures and many different things to do. So that's one I wanted to hold. And I didn't know if people would consider this a cop-out or a cheat, but I thought it was a really interesting kind of take on a list like this one. So that is the Dune Imperium. Those are just those two games. Just role-playing games in general. Okay, what else we got? We got 4 games left. That's it? Okay. Too Many Bones. This is the Unbreakable box. You might have noticed up here I used to have Too Many Bones box, but I actually just threw that away finally for the first time because I've got the Trove chest that's actually still behind me, and I didn't no longer needed that box. But as I was getting ready to film this video, I was like, oh, I need a Too Many Bones box. I threw it away. Luckily, I used this Unbreakable box for storage in the garage, so I was able to go and grab it for this video. But Too Many Bones is another game that I very, very much enjoy the system and how it challenges you with the different types of puzzles with every encounter. It is also another adventuring game, and this is by Chip Theory Games, where you are going to be getting a gear lock, and you are going to be assigning different skill points to abilities and skills that your character can use. And as you go through the adventure, as you get to the big baddie, and it's usually about 14 different sections before you get there, you're going to encounter different types of adventure things. You could have a card that'll tell you an encounter you're having, and you can either choose to ignore it and take some benefit, or fight the encounter and get a different benefit. And then when you get to the actual encounters where you're fighting, it's on a little board that, looks very not exciting, I guess a lot of people would say, and I think a lot of people think the game looks ugly from a point. But as you take your poker chips and you're placing your units on the board, and you're using your skills and abilities to try to defeat the current puzzle, it becomes a very thinky game because you have a limited resources at your disposal. A lot of the abilities the Gearlocks have are one use per encounter, so you have to know when you choose to use a certain ability or whatnot to defeat the enemy. And I really, really appreciate that puzzle that's presented to you by Too Many Bones. Now, this is the Unbreakable expansion. It's the last expansion. I haven't actually dived into this one yet. Haven't had the time to check it out. But from what I'm hearing from other content creator friends of mine who have played it, they think this is one of the better expansions of them. And I really enjoy the complexity that they've been adding it. So I'm looking forward to diving into this one. So that is Too Many Bones. And in general, just my collection of Too Many Bones. Okay, let's leave that one for last. Okay, let's do this one. This one might be kind of a cheat. I'm not sure. Maximum Apocalypse. And I put this one here. And like I said, this one could be a cheat because this one, could find itself on or off this list as games come and go. I could see other games potentially replacing this one. But the reason I chose to put my Maximum Apocalypse collection of games up here is because as of right now, when I'm playing solo games, Maximum Apocalypse has been my go-to game to play. I've had a lot of fun with all the little different types of adventures, and I've had a ton of fun exploring the different types of heroes that are found in this game. And this is also a very modular game. I made a video on this one, and I titled it New Favorite, like Maximum Apocalypse New Favorite. And so far, it is still holding true as being my new favorite game for my solo play. I very, very much appreciate this one and would love to play it more. I don't play solo games as much as I would like to, but I would love to play it more, and I want to get through all of the scenarios in the campaigns, and I should be able to do that here, and hopefully in the next 6 months I should be able to get through all of it. But yeah, that's Maximum Apocalypse. And like I said, maybe in 6 months, once I get through it, maybe something else would replace it. But for right now, that's the game I would choose. Okay, we got two bangers, my favorite games. And this one also, it's hard because Dune can be read both ways. This one's hard because Dune Imperium could be replaced by Uprising, which I should be getting hopefully after PAX is done. My friends from Antlab Games said they would pick a copy up for me and send it down. So I'm looking forward to trying Dune Imperium Uprising. But for right now, Dune Imperium still, after 15 or so games that I've played, maybe more because I haven't logged every play, still is one of my most enjoyable experiences that I've had to date. The game is an incredible deck builder, worker placement game that utilizes different types of strategies to achieve victory. I really love how my player group has evolved into different types of strategies and understanding the strengths and benefits of certain cards or certain types of movements. It has made this game one of the best enjoyable experiences I've ever had. In fact, the last player group session we did, I told my guys, I was like, all right, there's a game that I need to cover for the channel that I need to get onto, but my heart wants to play Dune Imperium because it might be the last time we get to play this if Uprising replaces it. And so they all agreed. No, I don't think anyone has ever not wanted to play Dune when we brought it up. And that means it's just a solid game. I really, really would enjoy playing it every time and always want to show new people this game. In fact, when I go down to Dice Tower West, next March, one of my goals is to again play this game as much as I possibly can with as many different people as I can, because I just love it that much. So that is Dune Imperium. And the final game that I couldn't live without is another one relatively-ish new to my collection, and that is Blood on the Clock Tower by the Pandemonium Institute. This is technically my #1 game on this list, so you could keep it as #1 for both rated and as the end of the video. Blood on the Clock Tower has become one of my most enjoyably looking forward to experiences every month. As I've said in other videos, I played this game for the first time at Dice Tower West 2023. I played a game on the first night and I loved my time with it. And I tried to get in as many games as I could in the 4 days. I was only able to play 4 games, unfortunately, because you have other commitments and plus you have other things you want to do. But I got 4 games in. And when I came back, I watched the No Rolls Barred Blood on the Clock Tower videos. I binged watched them, literally hours and hours and hours of watching it. And I told myself, I have to get this game. So I was able to track down a Kickstarter copy, and I picked it up for a relatively decent price comparatively, and started a Facebook group locally for a Blood on the Clock Tower meetup. And I wanted to invite as many people to experience this game, and a lot of people that I invited and created this group with had never played the game before. And now we have monthly sessions where we play the game and enjoy the breadth and enjoyment level that this offers. And now we are also doing birthday parties where people will host. They want their birthday party hosted by a Blood on the Clock Tower, where I'll go there and basically storytell for their birthday party. And I never thought that would be a thing, and here I am doing that, and it's been a ton of fun, and I love doing it. Blood on the Clock Tower is a social deduction game where players are going to be getting a roll. Now, there's only, every script has like 17-ish rolls. I don't know off the top of my head what the actual number is. And you are going to get a unique roll for your character. And there are going to be good players and there are going to be evil players. But there's always going to be only one demon in every game. And the goal of the game is for the good players to vote and execute the demon. And the demon is going to try to cause chaos and eliminate all the good players until there's only 2 players left living, either 2 evil players or a good player and the demon. So that is the game. Now, the complexity of Blood on the Clock Tower comes in trying to solve the puzzle that is given to you by the storyteller. A lot of the rolls, every roll you have is very powerful and can give great information for everyone, but it's up to the players to learn how to figure out the puzzle that's presented and also deal with the misdirection that's caused by the game's mechanics, as well as the misdirection from the evil team and their mechanics. It's an incredibly good experience. If you are going to be at Dice Tower West coming up in 2024 and you want to play Blood on the Clock Tower and you like to play with me, let me know in the comment section down below, because I will be down there, and I would, if I can, I would love to host a game and play with people, or just play with people in my community. So that is Blood on the Clock Tower. Lovely, lovely game. And these are the 10 games that I feel like I would be totally satisfied if they were the only games in my collection. I wouldn't have any problem playing these games for the rest of my time. So at least I like to think I would be. Who knows? Anyways, my name is Brian. Thank you guys again for watching. Remember, leave a comment down below in terms of what are your 10 games that you don't think you can live without. And I would love to see them. Anyways, I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.